following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Welcome in to Main Street Sports today. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant here on this Wednesday edition. And sorry for the late start there. We had some technical difficulty, but it appears that we have got it worked out and everything looks good. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us as always. Mo, what's going on?
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. It is, in fact, it is Wild and Wacky Wednesday. We got a great show for you. We've got Pete Weber coming up later in the show. We've got Brady McAtamney, who's going to talk some Clarksville area hoops with us. It's going to be a really great show. We've got a lot to get to, including our top story and everything else. So, Mo, let's quickly get into the show, get it going, because we need to get to some results from yesterday. Tonight's schedule, which is very important because it is unusual in that it's kind of long. So let's get to it and give them today's rundown.
This is the rundown.
Tuesday night high school boys basketball action. Lawrence County defeated Tullahoma 49-44 in District 8 AAA play. Also in District 8 AAA, Marshall County with a 50-44 win over Spring Hill. And in Division 2 District 3, University School of Nashville got a 37-point performance from Josh Gretchen in a 63-60 win at Columbia Academy. And high school girls action, it was Tullahoma 40, Lawrence County 35, and Columbia Academy with a 70-30 win over USN.
Last night's NHL action, Vancouver down the Preds 3-1. We'll talk about that later with Pete Weber. We've got NCAA men's action last night. It was 24th ranked Tennessee scoring the final 8 points of the game to get a 68-60 win over Vanderbilt. We'll talk about that one as well later. Tonight in high school basketball action at 5 o'clock, Santa Fe and Wayne County will take part in the doubleheader in Waynesboro. It's Culleoka hosting Collinwood, Columbia Central traveling to Summit, Richland hosting Hampshire, and Independence hosting Ravenwood.
In high school wrestling this evening, Columbia Central will also be at Summit. That's a 5:30 start, roughly. If you know, you know. Junior college basketball action, the Jackson State men will be at the Webb taking on the Chargers of Columbia State. That's a 7:30 start. There is no women's game there. And in NBA action tonight, the Grizzlies travel to Milwaukee, take on Giannis and the Bucks. 7 o'clock start.
That's going to do it for today's rundown. Mo, we've been kicking around the idea of what to call the top story, if we're just going to call it the first pitch or the opening kick or whatever. Here's a thought. Whatever genre the
top story comes from.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. So I nominate that Ron Franklin would be most notably a football play-by-play guy. Saturday night ESPN game. So we're going to call this one the opening drive. And Ron Franklin, very, very popular voice, famous voice from my childhood on that Saturday night game, has passed away at 79.
Yeah. Sad news we got yesterday. And like you said, he kind of became iconic for that game and those night games at the collegiate level. I mean, not quite to the Keith Jackson level, but pretty close.
Yeah.
He was, like you said, synonymous with that Saturday night nationally televised game on ESPN, and quite often, in the Southeastern Conference. I mean, I saw a couple of clips of some Tennessee-Georgia games, on Twitter last night that he had done and different things like that. And yeah, didn't realize he had been out of it as long as he has. And unfortunately, his career ending wasn't the greatest, but did a really good job behind the mic.
Yes, absolutely. Also worked for the Houston Oilers and Texas Longhorns. So that's a pretty solid career there for Ron Franklin. So our condolences to his family, and we will obviously never forget some of those iconic calls that he had over the years in his, 24-year career? Yeah, 24-year career at ESPN. So It's pretty impressive.
Worked a lot with Mike Gottfried, former coach at Murray State.
Yes, he and Mike were pretty well a solid team. I mean, and always enjoyed hearing them. But Ron Franklin has passed away at 79 years old. And again, our condolences to him. And that is today's opening Drive top story. We have Brady McAtamney coming up here momentarily to talk about Clarksville area hoops, Montgomery County sports, and all that go along with it. We'll talk college football, college basketball, and Preds and Titans. So much more on Wild and Wacky Wednesday. So you guys stick with us. There's Brady. He'll be on the other side of the break. So stick around on Main Street Sports today. We'll be right back. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods is a full-service sporting goods store that supplies everything you, team, or your entire league need for sports. Call 388-8060 or go to jonesandlang.com. Apparel, equipment, fan gear, from postseason prep to customized trophies at season's end. They've been in business more than 50 years because they give you the best products, the best service, and the best prices possible. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, located in Neely's Mill right here in Columbus. Call 388-8060 or go to jonesandlang.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back into Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We are coming to you on this Hump Day edition with all the news that is news across the mid-state. And when we bring you the most timely and comprehensive coverage of high school sports in Middle Tennessee, we tell you we do that because we have the experts with us. We're able to bring in those who know a lot more about it than we do. I'm going to get over here in the shade. I'm sorry I'm not centered up there, but couldn't see. Seeing is half. You know how you turn the radio down so you can see better?
So you can see better?
Yeah, I had to be able to see so I could talk better, Mo. that's how it works.
There you go.
But we do have the experts on tap, and the Clarksville area high school sports man himself, Brady McAtamney, joins us from Main Street Preps. Brady, thanks for taking some time today. Glad we could get you 2 days later.
Hey, better late than never, right?
That's right.
Brady doing his Tom Selleck Magnum PI imitation with his Detroit Tigers cap on.
Come
That's
on.
right. We haven't won a World Series as recently as the Braves, but
Well, you know.
like to think we're getting there.
Yep. Not everybody can be us.
Unfortunately not.
So, Brady, where'd you go last night?
So last night I was at Clarksville High. They were playing Rossview, probably the biggest rivalry in the county. Always fun when those two schools match up.
Oh, now, Clarksville and Rossview is bigger than Clarksville and Northeast or Northeast and Northwest?
Yeah, it is. Those two schools are really just right down the road from each other. Rossview opened up really at the turn of the millennium and took a lot of kids from the Clarksville high school district.
Okay.
That zone. So they've kind of just been rivals ever since that area opened up.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm kind of showing my age because I remember when Clarksville, Northeast, and Northwest were the only three schools in Clarksville, and now that number has basically doubled. Not counting Montgomery Central and Clarksville Academy, but you've also got Kenwood and Rossview, like you said, and am I forgetting anybody, or is
West Creek
and West Creek? Yeah.
Yep.
So they've doubled, literally.
Yeah, it has.
That's pretty amazing. Brady, from what you can tell, and how long have you been up there?
So I'm kind of in the 2.5 year area right now.
Okay. So how much of that growth is Fort Campbell related?
It's a pretty good amount, especially in those newer areas. West Creek and Kenwood definitely benefit a lot from that Fort Campbell growth. And you see it a lot, especially with West Creek. They get a lot of turnaround, which it really makes it hard to build up those sports programs because it seems like you got kids coming in and out of the school every year. It makes it really hard to build a solid foundation for them. But I'd say there's a good amount of it that has to do with Fort Campbell. And then, sometimes once guys are done with active duty, they'll choose to stay in the city, and maybe buy a home somewhere, settle down somewhere, and their kids will go to another school. So it's definitely got a big impact.
It's as I was watching and keeping up with your coverage last night, Brady, and you talk about that rivalry. You could tell the crowd was super into the ball games. That girls' game seemed to be incredibly, competitive.
It was incredibly competitive. Rossview is a program that, for the last decade or so, obviously I haven't been here for that whole time. But from what I know, this is a program that's really just kind of always been, among, near the top in Middle Tennessee. They're not quite, that where Page or Lebanon are at the moment. But they're always a team that's competing for their district title, competing hard in the region, going to some sub-states. And they're going to be right there again this year. And Clarksville High, another very good program. And right now they've got Amari Berry, who is only a sophomore, came into high school with offers from Vanderbilt and Murray State before even stepping foot on the high school court. She's already taken visits to Louisville, Clemson, Memphis, getting some attention from even South Carolina over there. So if Dawn Staley's got her eye on you, then you're a pretty good basketball player. So anytime she steps on the court, Clarksville's going to be competitive. And that was an incredibly competitive game last night. They'll meet again in a couple weeks. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
I had a chance to see Rossview first week of the season, I guess, when they came down to Columbia Central, and their length is something that's going to give a lot of teams problems. And it's funny, as you talk about them playing Clarksville last night, I think about those Clarksville teams that had future UT player Bashara Graves and some of those other players that went on and played 4-year ball. And it's kind of ironic that now things have swung toward Rossview to some degree with the talent that they've got. I think they've got a girl who has signed with Southern Illinois, Eastern Illinois.
Eastern Illinois, yeah.
Okay. So definitely a talented bunch, those Lady Hawks over there.
They absolutely are. Yeah, you mentioned that length. Sydney DeRoche, that she's signed with Eastern Illinois. She's a very good, really can do it all at 3 levels, but she's very lengthy. She's a very strong player. But they also got some other very lengthy players. Tori James, who is also a volleyball player, a middle hitter in volleyball. Very long legs, long arms. So she's a great defender. I believe she came in second last year in pole vaulting. I believe it was one of the track sports that requires, leaping ability. So when you got a player like that roam in the middle, that's going to give teams a really hard time in the post. And they just got a lot of just really solid, really smart players. They're well coached. Rossview, they're definitely going to give a lot of teams trouble.
On the boys' side, tell us a little bit about Clarksville, because it seems like they have they've had a pretty good year to this point. After the turn of the year, though, I can't find much about them outside of what you've covered.
Yeah, they don't do a ton with updating, updating their online stuff. They are undefeated, though, in the turn of the year. The last loss was in the Willie Brown Memorial Christmas Classic against Father Ryan. Obviously, that's a team really no shame in taking a loss to. But since then, they've beaten Blackman, West Creek, Northwest, and then last night, Rossview. So they're 13-2 overall, 2-0 in the district. They're just whenever Ted Brown is there, Ted Young is there. I don't know if you guys are familiar. He was a player there. He's got his jersey retired up at Clarksville High, and he's been coaching there for a while.
Played at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's right. He did play at Vanderbilt. Yep, and he's still probably about 6'8". He's taller than almost every player on the court. I mean, he's just an excellent coach. He took a team to the state tournament last year that didn't really have anyone over like 6'3", 6'4". JJ Wheat is a big part of that. He's their point guard. He can do it all. He's finally getting some college attention with an offer from Freed Hardman. There was a guy from Bethel there last night to talk to him. This is a guy who's so good. I was talking to Rossview's coach after the game last night. He said that behind the scenes, he's been trying to get this Clarksville player some attention from colleges. So he's made a fan from a rival coach. That's how good this guy is. I'm
not shocked to hear that from Johnny Jackson, though. He's really a good dude, and he's in it for the kids, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be his kids, obviously. So that's right. That's good stuff there.
Yeah, Johnny Jackson, he's a great guy. I always love catching up with him after games. But yeah, he's been talking to coaches behind the scenes, trying to get JJ Wheat attention, as well as his own coaches. So if Clarksville High is able to get to that sub-state, even state championship again, it's going to be JJ Wheat doing a lot of that. But they've got some pretty good players alongside him as well, in Jaheim Berry, who is actually the older brother of Amari Berry, an incredible shooter, not quite the player that his sister is, but a very good player. I believe he's averaging probably around 15 points or something this year, and really just a lot of solid role players.
No smack talking going on at home between those two, is there?
Oh, I doubt it.
Yeah, that's what you like. I mean, when you've got players like that who lift or who are willing to take that role and show, hey, look, I'm going to do my part. You guys do your part. Let's let JJ do his thing. And we're going to be able to take the next step, whatever that next step is for a team. And for Clarksville High School, it would be the state finals. So that would be fantastic. Brady, got a couple of minutes left here. Just give me some of the other players that we need to be watching out for, because we are just about in the district tournament play. What teams or players are kind of stick out for you, just kind of off the top of your head?
Yeah, so looking on the girls' side, Northwest is going to be dangerous again. They haven't been quite as good this year as they were last year. They made it to sub-state last year, had I believe a 9-10 point loss to Page, who, of course, is very good again this year. They're led by Tamia Scott, who's a Middle Tennessee commit. She's just very long, athletic, good shooter, good teammate. They got some pretty good players alongside her as well. Clarksville Academy boys, Eddie Ricks is the guy there. He's a 3-star recruit for the 2023 class. Has some kind of mid D1 offers so far. And with Isaiah West going down for Good Pasture, that really opens the door for Clarksville Academy to potentially win that district this year, with Good Pasture being not quite 100%. Kenwood, very good basketball team this year. They're competing in the region with teams like Clarksville. Henry County, who's very good out west. But Jalen Washington is their guy. He was my actually football player of the year. He's an incredible quarterback, but also an incredible guard in basketball. Very good defensively. He had a game where he dropped 40 points this year. Just a lot of basketball talent, and he's definitely one of those top guys. I've mentioned Rossview and Clarksville girls basketball teams. I could do this a lot. Yeah, I could do this all day if you guys couldn't tell. But yeah, a lot of good basketball talent. I would say those teams I mentioned are kind of the ones to really watch.
Brady McAtamney here on Main Street Sports today. Brady, tell them where they can find you on Twitter, and if they want to hear more in depth about Montgomery County and some other northern counties in the Main Street area, how can they hear about your podcast?
Absolutely. So my Twitter is at Brady_MSP. Of course, that's Main Street Preps. MainStreetPreps.com, MainStreetClarksville.com. JP and I just started up a new podcast with Blaine Keller, who covers Robertson Sports. That is the MSP North podcast. You'll be able to hear that very soon. We just recorded earlier today. Like I said, Twitter's a very good spot for me. I'm always active there, always covering stuff. So, I'd love to hear from you guys.
All right, that's Brady McAtamney of Main Street Preps. When we come back, we're going to talk about Josh Heupel and Shane Beamer sharing a first-year head coach award. That should be fun. So, also UT Vandy Hoops. We'll be back on Main Street Sports today right after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods is a full-service sporting goods store that supplies everything you, team, or your entire league need for sports. Call 388-8060 or go to jonesandlang.com. Apparel, equipment, fan gear, from postseason prep to customized trophies at season's end. They've been in business more than 50 years because they give you the best products, the best service, and the best prices possible. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, located in Neely's Mill right here in Columbus. Call 388-8060 or go to jonesandlang.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back into Main Street Sports today. Wanted to get I was trying to pull up the article, Mo. But here on this Wednesday edition, we've got a fantastic rest of the show for you because we're going to talk a little UT, hoops, and gridiron. We've got Pete Weber joining us coming up in hour number 2. Of course, it's Wild and Wacky Wednesday. We'll give you the weirdest and wildest news from across the world. It's going to be a lot of fun as well. And it appears that Derrick Henry is going to talk to media today. So we'll talk about that as well. But I did want to mention, I think we had Josh Heupel and Shane Beamer who were awarded the Football Writers of America's Association or Association of America or whatever it is, FWAA.
Mm-hmm.
The Steve
Football
Spurrier
Writers Association of America, the Steve
Okay.
Spurrier First Year Coach Award.
Except it's a co-coach of the year award being shared between Josh Heupel and South Carolina's Shane Beamer, which I find very odd because one of those beat the other one by like 25 points.
Well,
So,
but yeah, well, one of those beat the other one by 25 points, but one of those beat Florida.
I didn't. Okay, let's let South Carolina play Florida in week 3. Different Florida teams, man. Different.
They were different Florida teams.
That team almost beat Alabama.
I mean, they were different Florida teams, and that Florida team that South Carolina was fortunate enough to play was ready to be done, I think. I do think that bears pointing out, though. Also, a little later in the year, I mean, South Carolina beat a pretty good North Carolina team in the bowl game, and Tennessee, and we've talked about this, and I'm certainly not defending, I'm just saying, Tennessee probably lost a game that they should have won in the bowl game. But, regardless, this is the second time for Heupel to win this award. He was also the 2018 winner when he was at UCF in his first year. So
let's hope he doesn't have many more of these.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you're a UT fan, you have to hope that he doesn't win it again.
Yeah, this is the last one. So
yeah.
Once again, Mo, head to head, it's pointless.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about that, and it doesn't seem to mean what you would think it would mean. I had not really heard of this award until this last few days,
right?
But it dates and it took a lot to run this down, but this dates back to 2002 when Tyrone Willingham won it at Notre Dame.
Jeez, Tyrone Willingham, that's a name.
And clearly it wasn't always the Steve Spurrier First Year Coach Award, since Steve Spurrier won it in 2005 at South Carolina.
That's interesting. I wonder what made them choose Steve Spurrier of all the people who had success in their first year.
I don't know. Maybe it's got something to do with it being presented by Chris Doring Mortgage.
That could be it. It's like, all right, I'll give you the money to promote it.
But you got to put my coach's name on it.
But you got to put Steve Spurrier's name. That's interesting. Whatever. I mean, this is great news. I mean, we knew that Josh Heupel came in and way overachieved. I mean, yeah, he lost a game that he probably should have won in the bowl game, but honestly, he shouldn't have been in the bowl game. Shouldn't have been in a bowl game, period. I mean, based on what we saw the last couple of years and the players who transferred out and all of those things, the fact that Josh Heupel won 7 ball games is a miracle. So,
yeah, and again, what they were able to get done on the offensive side of the ball in particular was really impressive, especially after you lose an Eric Gray and a Ty Chandler out of your backfield. It was pretty spectacular what they were able to get done on offense. And now hopefully, they can get the defensive side shored up, because they certainly need to.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have some players to build around. Obviously, one of those cornerstones will not be back. So, crap. What's his name, Mo?
Alontae Taylor is not coming back. Is that who you were talking about?
Yes, Alontae Taylor.
Yeah.
Who
and his absence in the bowl game may have played a part in the way things went against Purdue. Because
I'm sure that had a lot to
Corners were
it.
a little shaky. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's he's one of those guys, those quarterback guys, the leader guys who's been there for a long time, and obviously, semi-local.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
anyway, before we get too far gone, I do want to talk about UT Vandy last night, because at one point the SEC network panned to the Vanderbilt student section, which housed mostly orange and white, and talked about that on the broadcast. And that can't be great if you are Vanderbilt administration or a Vanderbilt fan.
If you are a Vanderbilt fan who can't get into the building in particular, that can't be great. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like they think they're making the best decision based on the information that they have. But it's tough. It's a tough decision to swallow, that they're not letting students in, or whoever it is that they're not letting in. It's tough. And the fact that Vanderbilt has picked up a pair of big wins on the road and has lost twice at home really kind of makes it even worse.
Then again, okay, so let me ask you this. Are Vandy students not allowed, or are they just not given tickets? Like, how do they know you're a Vandy student if you just go buy a ticket?
If you just go buy a ticket, well, why are you going to buy something that you're used to getting for free?
That you should get for free. I'm just saying, like, they're not saying, sorry, you're a Vandy student, you can't go. They're saying if you're going to go, you're going to have to buy a ticket. We're not giving them to you for free to go sit in a crowd with one another, which is, again, I mean, if they have class on campus, and I'm sure that there's some sort of social distancing in classes, but I'm just thinking that there's probably some, they may be overthinking this at some level. So
whoa, stop. Vanderbilt overthinking things?
Overthinking it. Yeah, I mean, that's never happened before.
That doesn't happen. Yeah.
And so, here's the thing. If you have your fans in the building last night, you probably scored those last 8 points and win 68-60 instead of the team that had their fans in the gym giving them that momentum.
That's
hot.
This guy.
Did you see what I tweeted last night after Jacksonville State got the win at Central Arkansas?
I did not.
So JSU, Central Arkansas misses a shot. JSU gets the rebound with 9 seconds to go. They dribble down the court, and our big guy trailing is wide open. So they dump it to him. He dunks it, gets fouled. JSU wins 86-81. And at the time, Scottie Pippen was like 1 of 5 from the floor. And so I tweeted, bad night for Scottie Pippens, court and junior. So, it was a tough. He ended up having 18 points, but 10 of them came from the line.
Yeah, and I listened to some of it on my way back from CA last night. I think it was after the under 8 before he hit his second field goal. So tough night. So it's the Scottie Pippen court.
It is, in fact, the Scottie Pippen court at Central Arkansas. So
that's with a Y, right? Because one of them spells it with a Y and the other
junior
one with an
spells
IE.
it with a Y.
Okay.
Yeah.
So senior spells it with an IE.
Yes, that's correct.
But they're senior and junior.
Well, it's probably not. Scotty is just probably a nickname, I'm sure. I'm sure his name is
Scott.
So anyway, I thought it was funny because they both, neither of them were having good nights at that particular moment.
Neither the court nor junior, huh? Yeah. Good call.
But Vanderbilt falls to Tennessee 68-60 at home in Memorial, and I gotta think the crowd had something to do with it. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, it's time to take a break. halftime coming up. We got Titans and Pete Weber coming up on the other side, as well as Wild and Wacky Wednesday. So you guys stick with us. At halftime, talk about Wordle. So, spoiler alert, I'm going to give you the word of the day in this halftime, but there's a good reason for it. So if you have not played your Wordle yet, do not listen to halftime. We'll be back after this.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
What were you saying before the break? Let's not what? Give away spoilers?
Let's not discourage people from listening to the show.
Well, I'm just saying, mute us during halftime. We'll be back. We'll be back. But obviously, I don't think you're playing. Are you playing Wordle? No.
I am not playing Wordle. No.
JP, have you picked up Wordle yet?
I have not. I know you mentioned it yesterday, but I have yet to get to that yet. So,
okay. So essentially, they give you no clues. It's just a 5-letter word, and you just have to choose a 5-letter word from out of thin air, and then it tells you if a letter is in the word but it's in the wrong place, they color it yellow. If it's in the word and it's in the right place, they color it green. So, and you get 6 tries to guess the word of the day.
6 tries.
6 tries.
What happens after the 6th?
You lose.
And you're locked out.
Game over.
Your phone disintegrates.
All right.
So I always use trial as my first word because it gets me TRL and 2 vowels, I and A. That's a pretty good start. And so I had 2 letters, and I just kind of played with it, and eventually I ended up with on my 3rd try. Don't ask me why I chose pinto. Pinto, yes.
Were you hungry?
Pinto bean. I don't know. I don't know why I chose pinto, but I had the P in the right place. The INTO were all out of order, but I had all 5 letters. I just had to figure out what order they go in. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. And I finally figured out it was point. But I just thought it was odd because I was like, I've got all 5 letters here and only one of them is in the right place. How is this even possible?
So you started with pinto?
No, I started with trial.
Okay. And then you got to pinto.
And then, on my 3rd try, I ended up with pinto.
But it was point.
But it ended, yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was funny, but it's a really fun game. We have a lot of fun with it. I have won. I've been playing it. I've played it 8 times. I've won every time, and I've only done it in less.
Difficult then.
Well, I'm really good with Link. Have you ever seen the show Lingo? I watch that show all the time.
One of the first lunches you guys took me to in Columbia, the Game Show Network was on one of the televisions. And I remember, Chris, you were like, oh, I'm all into this.
Yeah.
I'm all into this.
So five letter words. I've kind of seen. I've seen them all. I've seen all the 5-letter words. So it makes it a little bit easier. So anyway, oh man, you guys should play it though. It gets addicting because you only get one word a day. It's one word. There's no more. It's one per 24 hours. So it's a lot of fun. Anyway,
We may have to do a top 5 game shows.
Ooh, well,
Okay.
not a bad idea. When we come back, we have Titans to talk about. So stick around.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods is a full-service sporting goods store that supplies everything you, team, or your entire league need for sports. Call 388-8060 or go to jonesandlang.com. Apparel, equipment, fan gear, from postseason prep to customized trophies at season's end. They've been in business more than 50 years because they give you the best products, the best service, and the best prices possible. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, located in Neely's Mill right here in Columbia. Call 388-8060 or go to jonesandlang.com.
You're live on. Oh man, that was fun. Sorry,
Welcome back, guys. Yeah, second half of the show, Main Street Preps today. Pete Weber joining us, guys, by the way, and also King Henry addressing the media today. Is that good or bad? I'm sure you guys will discuss that coming up. Looking forward to it. Take it away.
Did I miss something?
Yeah, we were discussing. They just sent us a picture. By the way, Charlie went to daycare for the first time today.
Oh, big news!
Yeah, so that was pretty big deal. And
big news.
So this is not like regular daycare back when when I was younger. Obviously, you sent your kid to daycare and whatever happened, and you didn't know about anything that happened unless it was bad and you got a phone call to come get your kid because they're sick or whatever, right? Well, I mean, I've got updates, diaper wet, food, breakfast, cereal, started her bottle. She ate most of her bottle. She started a nap. She ended her nap. She ate another part of a bottle and a snack. Wow. And then they sent us a picture and the poor baby looks miserable. I just feel
Have you sent them back that if I wanted to know all this, I would have just kept her at home?
You can choose what notifications you get.
Well, you need to choose fewer.
I just thought it was funny.
You get like a pie chart at the end of the day or a spreadsheet.
Like our time.
Yeah,
that's what we need is our time. Just
it's kind of like our run of show. This is Charlie's day right here. Yeah.
And what's so wild is that right now she is the only infant in her class because everybody else.
That's how they can do all that.
She gets
don't get used to it.
So I can't imagine
early.
This is going to happen every day. I don't know. It's wild. So anyway, if you send your kids to daycare these days, don't download the app. It's bad. Oh man, it's crazy. Anyway, sorry. That's what we were looking at because I was like, this poor child looks so miserable in this photo. Oh man.
The only person more miserable is the person having to keep up with all that.
Well, I guess just not today though, because obviously you have nobody else to worry about. It's just her. So, Mo, King Henry's talking to the media today. Joe Rexroad, friend of the show, says there's zero chance that King Henry is talking to the media and not going to play on Saturday.
Given the way this franchise, this coaching staff deals with the media, I think that's absolutely accurate. And I think they'd be more likely to have him not talk to the media and play than to talk to the media and not play. So yeah, this is
Pretty telltale.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing to do at this point is just to announce that he's been activated, and hopefully for Teresa Walker's sake and a lot of other folks, they'll do that before Sunday. So
yeah, I'm going to send JP. There is a video on Twitter. Kayla Anderson TV sent it out. I have no idea what King Henry said, but he is wearing a Titans visor and hoodie. So that's interesting because, visors are always fun.
Well, given his hairstyle.
Yeah, specifically.
The visor is probably the only option.
That would make sense. Yeah. It's interesting though, because, most players are talking to them outside the facility. So, and he's standing at the podium. So this is clearly post-practice. It's interesting. I mean, Saturday, I think, is going to be all about gamesmanship for the Titans. I think, obviously, last year has nothing to do with it, but I'm sure Mike Vrabel is using that as motivation, especially for his offense, who looked absolutely useless against the Bengals last year. So I'm interested to see how this works. And I also think that Mike Vrabel is much like our friend Nick Saban in his ability to motivate guys and use the hate as fuel.
Sure. And, scrolling through Twitter as we are wont to do, I just refreshed, and at NFL on CBS put something out earlier today. The Titans were the only team in the NFL who had 3 players with 8+ sacks this season. Landry, Autry, and Simmons.
They also had 8 wins against teams with winning records, and they are 8-0 when they get 8 or more days rest.
Yeah. So 8s and 22s are big this week.
8s and 22s. You see what he's wearing though? I love that hoodie. That looks like a cutoff. Is that cutoff? That's a hoodie vest. That is a
he
Bill
took short sleeve
special.
He took short sleeve hoodie to the next level.
Look at that. That's incredible. With the Under Armour style long sleeve.
That's liable to catch on, y'all.
That's phenomenal.
We're liable to see some sleeveless hoodies.
This is fantastic. I like the design of the hoodie. I don't like the design of the arms or lack thereof.
Well, I think it was just literally cut off. I don't think it was made that way.
The Mitch Hedberg joke. I'm wearing a vest. If I didn't have any arms, it would be a jacket. I'm wearing the sleeveless hoodie. If I didn't have any arms, it would be just a hoodie.
A hoodie, yeah. So Derrick Henry and the visor. Now, does he have to take that loose, put it on, and redo the Velcro in the back, or does he just pull his hair up and put it through? How does that work?
My guess is he probably puts it on his head where he wants it on the front, and then Velcros it in the back.
Or he could just put his hair through it and pull it all the way over the top.
I don't know. That's interesting. It would be, women with long hair, softball players, they typically take the visor and put it around their neck, and then they pull it up.
There you go.
So I guess that's a possibility too.
There are options.
There are options, in fact. Oh man. I was scrolling through Twitter earlier, and some PFF, I guess, had put out a mock draft for the Titans, and they had them taking a cornerback and a linebacker in the first 2 rounds. And I thought it was funny because someone mentioned Tyler Vrabel, and would Tyler Vrabel be an option for the Titans? And I can't imagine that he would. That would be awkward in the locker room.
I can't
right?
imagine that he would, just because what if you have to cut your son?
Be tough, wouldn't it? And if you don't, and it's fringe, then what does that do to their locker room?
Yeah, I just think for Mike Vrabel being the guy that he is, I think he just as soon not have to deal with that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's interesting though.
Although I feel like if the Titans choose a defensive guy in the first round, that we've got issues in and of itself. Because, I mean, yeah, the defensive backfield is fine. Let's try to get some young pass catchers in here, or how about a guard? That'd be great.
How about a O-lineman? Period. None. I wouldn't mind a tackle.
Well, we've got a tackle.
I wouldn't mind a tackle.
I mean, what we saw out of the backup tackle was fine by me. If that's the direction we want to go in the future. The rookie, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now, but he played
Radens.
Dylan Radens. He played just fine. If that's the direction we want to go, I'm not mad about it. So give me a guard, because our right guard position might as well be fighting bulls in Madrid. So
red cape and all, huh?
Red cape and all. So, I mean, anything but a cornerback, because hopefully the guy you drafted last year will actually get to play next year. Hopefully.
It'd be nice.
Anyway, man, cut off sleeve hoodies.
Sleeveless hoodies.
The next best thing, baby. It's coming to a sporting goods store near you. Maybe even
without
Jones and
question.
Lang.
Without question, it is. Yeah, the look of a winner right there.
I hope it's the look of a winner on Saturday, 3:30, when the Titans and Bengals take the field. The field's gonna be rocking when number 22 gets his name called, and I can't wait. Cannot wait. Also cannot wait to talk to Pete Weber, even though the Predators are on a little bit of a skid ever since Pete came back from COVID.
We're gonna put it on Pete, huh?
Put it on him.
Okay.
It's all Pete's fault. It's all your fault.
You.
Pete Weber on the other side of the break. Y'all stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods is a full-service sporting goods store that supplies everything you, team, or your entire league need for sports. Call 388-8060 or go to jonesandlang.com. Apparel, equipment, fan gear, from postseason prep to customized trophies at season's end. They've been in business more than 50 years because they give you the best products, the best service, and the best prices possible. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, located in Neely's Mill right here in Columbus. Call 388-8060 or go to jonesandlang.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in. It is Main Street Sports today. It's Wild and Wacky Wednesday, Hump Day edition here for week number, 3, I guess? Week 3? Man, we're 2.5 weeks down of 2022. Man, time flies when you're having fun. Time flies.
Something like that.
We've got the weirdest and wildest news from across the world coming your way in the next segment. It is Wild and Wacky Wednesday, and you're going to want to stick around for that because, well, it's some good ones. So, looking forward to it. But first, we got to talk about the Nashville Predators.
No, before we talk about the Nashville Predators, let's do this.
What you got?
Just got a text from Brian True, the athletics director at Loretto High School. Their game from last night with Giles County will be made up a week from tonight, 6 o'clock in Pulaski.
In Pulaski.
So there you go. Now,
it's good reason to go to Pulaski. That and
not the original, but Legends is down there. It's always good.
There's got to be something. Well, on the way there, you can always stop at 31 South. I mean,
Hickory House in Pulaski.
Hickory House in
that's
Pulaski.
it.
There we go. Thank you,
That's
JP.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, JP with all the food knowledge. That's what
Who's
we're saying.
That was my dream job. Number
There
one,
we go.
traveling
There you
food producer.
Food show producer, yeah.
Well, JP,
Yep.
have we not had this conversation that we're trying to make this a thing?
Yeah.
I mean, behind the apron is this is your opportunity to put this together.
Well, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
All right. We're all ready.
Maybe start with this next guy. Maybe I don't know. I bet he knows his way around a kitchen.
I bet he does. Pete Weber, the play-by-play voice of the Nashville Predators, who are on a bit of a skid. Pete, what's going on? What's going on with the boys? We've lost a game and a half in the last 2.
Right, and the season-long streak of just 1 point in the last 5 games. So that's what's concerning to the coaching staff. They have scored a total of 8 goals in these last 5 games and have given up a total of 14. So that's not a good formula for success, really. Every team has a bump in the road at some point in time. They're just hoping they can get T-Dot out to level off that bump and take care of things beginning tomorrow night with Winnipeg.
Well, Pete, you kind of called this thing starting last Thursday with the Buffalo game where you predicted a trap game, and sure enough it was. And then as you said, lost 4-3 at Boston in overtime, lost 5-3 Monday to the Blues, and then 3-1 to the Canucks the night after. So definitely looking to get things turned tomorrow night when they take on Winnipeg.
Yeah, and it's been so long since they met Winnipeg. And let's see. Let me get the date on that one for you again, because my memory can't call it up instantaneously. It was October 23rd when they last met the Winnipeg Jets, and they lost that game in Winnipeg, sort of a wide open affair, 6-4. And now 2 games with the Jets coming up here. And I don't know if you've seen this afternoon, but the Predators and the NHL released their rescheduled games as a result of COVID interruptions and everything else. And by the way, for your audience, Saturday's game, because of the Titans game, has been dropped back a half hour. So rather than a 7 o'clock face-off, if somebody wants to take part in the doubleheader, a football hockey doubleheader, they'll face off at 7:30 against Detroit on Saturday night.
Good luck getting there from Nissan Stadium, though, as apparently they're going to have watch parties all down Broadway like they did during the Stanley Cup. So
yeah,
I don't know how many people are going to be standing in the streets of Broadway mucking up that trek from Nissan to Bridgestone, but good luck. That's all.
You're probably going to be better off walking than driving that.
Oh, yes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure you're going to be able to walk it, Mo.
Well, I'll tell you, the all-time record for a last-minute crowd for a Preds game was the day of the Music City Miracle, an early start for the Titans against the Buffalo Bills, and then that night the Chicago Blackhawks were in town.
Oh.
And 5,000 tickets sold at the gate that night at Bridgestone Arena. Well, it wasn't Bridgestone Arena back then. It was the Nashville Arena. And then what happened? The Chicago fans drank Broadway dry. There was a huge problem there.
Didn't know it could happen, and yet they did.
Oh, yeah, they did it.
Winnipeg.
Are you sure it was all Chicago fans? Because it might have been Buffalo fans trying to drown their sorrows.
There's
too.
that too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite possible. And I'll never forget that game and how Sharon Wycheck, then Frank's wife, was so nervous she turned away from the field and didn't see her husband throw that pass.
Lateral.
Yes.
Yeah, it was definitely a lateral. Most definitely went
Ask Jerry Helper. Ask Jerry Helper.
Pete, given the time that you spent in Buffalo, how tough was that play to watch unfold?
And you know where I watched it unfold? I was directly on that yard line in the press box. So I never questioned that it was anything but a lateral, that it was within the realm of the law. And so that made it a little bit more difficult. But the worst thing to me was making a scapegoat of special teams coach Bruce DeHaven. And he got fired after that game. And was it his fault they weren't covering the lanes? He reminded them all before the play unfolded. But, hey, as was said on local radio, he's got something. He's got something. There are no flags on the field. Yes.
It's a miracle. Yeah, that was good stuff. Pat Ryan did a good job with that.
Did he ever?
Yeah. Pete, as you said, Winnipeg tomorrow night, 7 o'clock pup drop. First meeting since October. I mean, what do you expect? What do you know to expect out of Winnipeg? How do you expect this team to respond after 3 straight losses?
Well, actually, excuse me. No,
4. I'm sorry. Yeah,
4
straight losses.
But
3.5.
Yeah, 3 in regulation. And
that's what I meant.
That has not happened this year until now. So I'm expecting. Now, they had the day off today. Mm-hmm. So after back-to-back games, you need to regenerate your gray matter here between the ears and think about something a little bit differently. The thing is, last night's game, yeah, they lost 3-1. They didn't play badly. The goaltending was good. David Riddick, by the way, last night became the first goaltender without a last name of Rene or Saros to start a game in Nashville since the year 2016. And that was Carter Hutton 5 years ago. So it tells you about how guys have been able to hang in there and continue to get the job done. But here for Winnipeg, they, I think, are a little bit more offensively minded, though they lost last night in overtime in Washington, 4-3. I just hope that that was the formula that Vancouver, they won in Washington before coming in here last night. So I'm hoping that the Washington effect has now been taken care of and is totally thrown away. But Winnipeg has some outstanding offense, and I think guys that people don't pay much attention to. But Kyle Connor, who is a winger for them. Tremendous speed, and I think he has overshadowed some of the more highly heralded players that they have. So have to be mindful of him at all times, and also a youngster that they've been waiting to bring into the league. Cole Perfetti scored his first NHL goal last night in D.C. that put Winnipeg up 2-0 before losing 4-3.
You know, you talked about the goals given up.
Right.
3 last night, 5 against St. Louis, 4 against Boston, and then 4 against Buffalo. You know, over the last couple of years, one of the big issues has not necessarily been the goaltending, but the lack of presence in the opponent's zone defensively.
Yeah.
And is that something that we should be concerned of as Preds fans? I mean, is that kind of part of this issue?
I think so. Yeah, I think defensive zone coverage, you always have to be cognizant of that and keeping that first and foremost in your minds. Now, a strength of this team is its forechecking, putting the pressure on the other end. So the theory there being mess up somebody else's backyard rather than them allowing them to mess up yours. And that can be a difficult balance to strike. But the goaltending has been good enough, I think, to have, and I think Mo will appreciate this, the Marvin Webster approach of the human erasers who have been between the pipes for the Predators over the last few years, being able to erase those mistakes.
It's interesting. You know, a lot has been made of this, the Preds having 51 points, but having played 41 games. And in the Central, that's good enough to be tied for second with St. Louis with 51 points. But, you know, it kind of stinks when you've got the Vegas and Los Angeles who have both played 40 games, and you'd be 3 points up if you were in the Pacific, huh?
Yeah. But I don't know that I want that travel.
No, but
I don't think I want to be going, you know, Anaheim, Los Angeles, San Jose, up to Seattle and then Vancouver all the time either.
No, but it does, with the way that the playoffs work. It's, you know, the top 3 from each division and then 2 wild cards, right?
Yes.
So that's kind of where it goes. Well, darn, boy, it should be nice to be winning that division right now. It's all right though. We'll take what we can get as long as we get into the playoffs. You said that
That's right. Now remember, 2017, they were the last team to make the playoffs, and where did that season end? In the Stanley Cup final.
And then the next year they were the first team to make the playoffs, and where did that season end?
Yeah, first out.
Yeah. So maybe it's not such a bad thing, but you know, you were talking about the rescheduled games, and Winnipeg is one of those. This is not one of those, but
no,
they have that one has been rescheduled for later, as well as 3 others, something like that.
Okay, so the start time changed for this Saturday.
Gotcha.
And then a game in Dallas that was going to be just before the new year is now going to be February 9th.
Okay.
The other Winnipeg game is going to be February 12th. Then Nashville, Washington, which was going to be April 2nd, is now February 15th. So they're beginning to utilize what would have been that Olympic break, plus February 18th, Carolina, February 22nd, Florida, then back into what was the regular schedule. The Ottawa game that was called off because of COVID is now going to be played on April the 7th. So that was going to be November 18th. And then a game with Calgary that was going to be December 14th is now April 19th. So fully using that time.
Man, that's absolutely.
And the Predators are among those that have the fewest to get made up. So that is rather intriguing. Calgary, I think, they had 20 guys out at one time, and they're going to have a real heavy schedule coming back.
So the Preds are going to get some rest then,
right?
Yes.
Over that time,
right?
That was going to be my question. How important is that going to be? You know, with other teams having to play so many games towards the end of the season in the middle of the playoff rush.
Yes, that is going to be debilitating, I think, for those teams. Rest is very difficult to a very treasured commodity, and so that's going to be difficult.
There you go. It makes sense to me. I would much rather have the rest late in the season. So
Yeah,
we'll take it.
absolutely. Yeah.
We will take it. Hey, Pete, we appreciate your time as always, and
Guys,
looking
thank
forward to talking to you again. But tell us how we can hear or see the game.
Are you back on
tomorrow?
Are you back behind the mic, Pete?
Yeah, I was back on Saturday, so
Okay,
I've been back since Saturday, and so I was not primarily responsible for the Buffalo game, but I did warn you about it.
You did, in fact. You did, in fact. But no, again, we appreciate it, and looking forward to it again. Winnipeg here in Nashville tomorrow night at 7:00 puck drop. So
Now,
check
what do I
it out.
expect? I'm gonna say one more, Chris. I'm sorry.
You got it.
But one of the greatest pictures ever was a Preds Winnipeg game several years ago when both penalty boxes were filled beyond capacity. Just keep that in mind looking ahead to that game tomorrow night.
Well, if anybody tries to take our guy out, our heralded rookie will make sure to
Mr.
send them.
Janot will be there, huh?
Yes,
he
he
will
will.
send them packing.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Pete. We
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Pete.
I got it.
When we come back, the weirdest and wildest news from across the world coming to you on Wild and Wacky Wednesday. Stick around on Main Street Sports Today. We'll be right back. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods is a full-service sporting goods store that supplies everything you, team, or your entire league need for sports. Call 388-8060 or go to jonesandlang.com. Apparel, equipment, fan gear, from postseason prep to customized trophies at season's end. They've been in business more than 50 years because they give you the best products, the best service, and the best prices possible. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, located in Neely's Mill right here in Columbus. Call 388-8060 or go to jonesandlang.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Oh, what a show it has been. If you missed any part of it, make sure to go visit our Twitter, ms_sports today, or Facebook, Main Street Sports Today, or search us on your podcast platform of choice. Make sure to subscribe, listen to it later, listen to it on your way to work tomorrow, whatever you want to do. Let's do it on your way home from work, I guess. Just download the podcast and listen to it on the way home. So that's always a good option as well. We had a really good show. Obviously, Brady McAtamney from Montgomery County And Main Street Preps talks a little Clarksville area hoops with us. We talked about Josh Heupel and Shane Beamer, UT Vandy hoops. We just spoke with Pete Weber, and of course, we talked about sleeveless hoodies. So anyway, it's fun enough. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and we'll be here for the next few minutes giving you the weirdest and wildest news from across the world on Wild and Wacky Wednesday. Mo, question.
Talk to me.
Now, I know that you have a girlfriend, right? And
When we came on the air, I did. Unless you know something I don't. Yes.
Okay, so here's the question.
Where's this going?
I'm on TikTok the other day, and there's a trend going around of folks talking about how they broke up or how they found out that their significant other was breaking up with them or whatever. Here's the story of Uciel Martinez, who is from Mexico, and he donated a kidney to his girlfriend's mother, and she then dumped him a month later.
Oh,
wow. How do you repo a kidney?
He explained he generously helped save his lady love's mother by donating an organ, but little did he know that even such a heroic act would not be enough to make his relationship work and eventually be over within weeks of the transplant. I donated a kidney to her mother. She left me and got married a month later.
wow.
She married someone else a month later.
Not just left, but married someone else, which means that she knew.
That's rough.
She knew.
Oh, she knew, but she was waiting.
Wow.
Man.
He said, we have just 2 kidneys, and I already gave one. I only have another one for me.
Oh, man.
UCL? UCL? Is that his name?
Yes. Uziel.
Uziel. That's unfortunate for Ooze.
It is in fact. Hey, have you guys seen the Portland minor league baseball team's pickle they're in?
They are in a pickle. He is in a pickle.
The Portland Pickles are in quite a pickle.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could. I don't even know if we could show this on our video because it is pretty rough.
Let's not.
Let's say this. The Portland Pickles sent out a tweet, and by the way, it's still up. It still has not been deleted to this point.
So let's let their listeners. Where is that? What's their Twitter?
At Pickles Baseball.
At Pickles Baseball. One word.
All one word. At Pickles Baseball. New phone. Who dis? And yeah, the photo is just don't. Just don't go look at it.
You've been warned.
Yeah, you've been warned. Exactly. It has come to our attention that this photo can be misinterpreted as a disturbing image. No kidding. Dylan is the nickname or the name of the mascot, Dylan the Pickle.
Dylan
would like to go on record and say, I was just trying to give a thumbs up.
That's not where your thumb is, Dylan.
Listen.
Do pickles have thumbs?
This one does. Dylan does. If we're being honest here, minor league baseball teams will do anything for publicity.
There's no such thing as bad
publicity. Yeah,
this is pretty good publicity. So I'm gonna give them that. I'm just gonna give it to them and be like, well done, good job, because everybody in the country is talking about the Portland Pickles today.
Yeah.
So
it's been on Stephen Colbert a couple of times over the last week.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, so I made a tweet last night, and I don't know if Mo saw it or not, but I said, imagine firing a guy, and within 24 months, he's named to a Sports Writers Hall of Fame, and then named the state's top sports writer. Couldn't be me.
Or me.
No, I missed that. I'll have to go
Hashtag
back
James Bennett wisdom. Yeah. To which someone from Anniston replied, "Don't worry, they're made for each other."
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Anyway, imagine though, Mo, if our last paycheck had been given to us in oil-covered pennies.
Oil-covered pennies.
Yes, oil like car oil, because a Georgia auto repair shop went viral last year for allegedly giving a former employee his final paycheck and thousands of oil-covered pennies requiring nearly 7 hours of cleaning.
Wow.
Well, bad idea, because now they're being sued by the Department of Labor.
Oh.
Didn't think that one through, did they?
Oh.
Well,
clearly
I
not.
mean, anyway.
Mo, is that a level of petty you strive? Or is that
I think that's a level of petty to which you aspire, but you gotta think that one all the way through, and you weren't expecting the Department of Labor to get involved in it.
Neither was Andreas Flatten, the employee, because Flatten told the Huffington Post on Tuesday that they were pleasantly surprised by the Labor Department's filing. At first, I didn't think I would ever see my final pay. Then the oily pennies were dumped, and honestly, I thought he would just be able to pull a stunt like that and get away with it. So I'm very glad to see the Department of Labor stepped up, because no one deserves to be treated like that, especially when they were leaving to better themselves and tried to leave the right way. So that's certainly interesting. I mean, I've seen people pay their bills in pennies, and I'm all for that. Hey, if
money's money.
AT&T wants to talk trash and be a knucklehead about something, and you take a wheelbarrow of pennies up there and pay them, I'm all for that. But don't be a butthead, and as a business owner, especially a small business owner, do your thing and do it right, especially when they tried to leave the correct way. So anyway, final story. The Missouri State Highway Patrol sent cell phones blaring statewide. Authorities in Gotham City, Missouri were searching for a purple and green 1978 Dodge 3700 GT, but there is no Gotham City, Missouri, and the car reference was the one used by the Joker in the 1989 Batman movie.
Oh, boy.
Apparently, somebody didn't mean to send that out as a statewide alert to every cell phone. It was supposed to go to somebody else, but instead, it went to everyone. So well done. All I'm going to say is I don't hate it. I think it's funny, and I hope that everyone who got the text laughed. That's going to do it for Weird and Wild News, Wild and Wacky Wednesday here on Main Street Sports Today. Come back next week for more Weird and Wild News, and also tomorrow for lots of high school sports. We'll have Coach's Corner and much more. So Main Street Sports Today comes back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. I didn't even mean to do that this time. But, for Mo and JP, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day. See you next time.